Hi guys, welcome to Soul Connections. I'm your host, Jo Labbé, here as part of Star Nation's radio network, being broadcast through BeLive TV out into Facebook land. I am so excited to be here after that spectacular full moon on Monday that kind of shook the bejesus out of a bunch of people and really started some change moving, started some energy shifting. And some of it's comfortable and some of it is not comfortable. So I'm just going to do a quick message over to Neshi so that she knows that I got a couple messages earlier today. And I forgot to tell her before we signed on. So here we are. Now I got my stuff done. So in this new energy, it is really important for us to take care of ourselves. How are you maintaining, clearing, grounding your own energy field? Because when we aren't aware, then we start to impact the energy of everyone around us. And we've all been in those situations where, somebody comes swirling in a bad mood and they sort of spread the negative mood throughout the building. So how do we hold our own energy so we're not doing that to others? And we're also not getting wiped out when others are in that kind of spinning energy. Well, we come here on Wednesday night and we do our work and we ask our team to help us with whatever's going on, whatever we need to clear, release, integrate. This is where we do it because most of us don't have a really solid self-care routine. And this is at least one thing you can do once a week. And even if you do it, you can do it live or you can watch the recording. But either way, you can start to take care of you because nobody else can. So with that, you guys know the drill. The only way we can get out there and really help other people is for you to love and share the show. Because when you do that, it shows up in your news feed and it allows other people to navigate their way to Star Nations and what we're doing here to try to help you along your healing journey. And maybe you don't want to share it on your page, but maybe there's one person in particular who you think it might help. You could always send it through Messenger too. So I'd really appreciate that. And after we do the healing meditation, we're going to draw some cards. And I know some of you are already chatting it up that you would like one. And tonight's deck, we've been using this for a couple weeks now. This is Sonia Choquette's deck called Fool's Wisdom. And for those of you who are used to the Tarot deck, we all know that the Fool is at the beginning of any soul's journey. And as the soul, is going through its paces, the Fool has a lot of lessons to learn. So these cards are basically the wisdom that the Fool runs across as it goes through its life experiences. And they've been really spot on for most of us. And there's been a lot of themes each week on how the energy is flowing for people as a group. So it's really cool not just to listen to what your card is, but to hear what the other cards are, because there are going to be pieces of those that resonate with you. And when they resonate with you, that message was for you too. So I'm so excited. It's so exciting to be here. And then some people, did a big weekend this past weekend at Star Nations Academy. I was up there teaching and Neshi was with me, and we did this great intensive weekend working on how to heal yourself. Called Awaken Your Soul's Evolution. And it was a whole weekend, and there was a lot of movement, a lot of crying, a lot of sharing, a lot of aha moments for the entire group. including Neshi and myself, because we're in the energy too. So we get to shift our own stuff. And, you know, it's such a powerful thing when people gather together to do the work. And I will be back at Star Nations Academy in October. So if you want to do a whole weekend with me, you know, come join us. Because I have a feeling this time around that class is going to fill really quickly, because there was so much energy and it was so powerful to have healing work with Neshi playing the sacred drums. It was just life-changing, I think, for a number of people. And in addition, if you're out in my neck of the woods, if you're out in New England this Saturday, I'm doing a mini version of that from 9 to 4. So show up. It's $25. Holy smokes. It's supposed to be $111. And Spirit said, nope, just charge them what you need to for, you know, the food and supplies. So $25 it is. And so if you want to have an opportunity to do that, come join me this Saturday at Trinity Healing Sanctuary. It will be a big day, but it also can get you jump started into your healing journey and your spiritual work. So exciting. So thrilled. So hope I'll get to see some of you in person. That would be great. So it's time for us to start the healing meditation. And as part of that, I'm going to be making clearing noises that help move the energy of the entire group. So they sometimes sound a little like a burp. Sometimes you hear sort of a squawk sound, which is hawk energy. It's hawk medicine that takes the energy up to the divine, because it's too much to get grounded and processed fast enough. So sometimes it's better to take it up to the heavens. So you may hear that as we're going. So to do the meditation, I invite you to get yourself super comfy. You know, get comfortable in a chair, lay down if you want to, because really this is all about you and your connection to your team and the divine. And so we're going to start that just by feeling our body, feeling our energy, noticing our breath, noticing our shoulders, letting them drop and relax, letting all of our muscles relax. And those of you who are like squeezing in your belly, just kind of let it all hang out because nobody can see it right now. And let the muscles in your legs because we hold tension in all these places, right? Yeah. So we're going to begin by calling in the divine, however you perceive that, to come in and connect with us, connect through us. And to create a sacred circle for us to do the healing work in. And you might want to take a brief moment to call in the directions for yourself, as I did for the group before we started. And don't forget to call in Grandmother Earth or the Divine Feminine. and Grandfather Sky or the Divine Masculine. And even welcome in the nature beings, the fairies, the divas, your animal totems, your spirit guides, all divine of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to us in this moment to assist us in our healing journey this evening. And setting the intention that the healing work is for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. So we begin by calling in the divine energy to connect to us through our crown chakra, giving it a moment to notice the connection, notice the tingling, the pressure, the heat, or the light. Just having that awareness of how your connection feels in your crown chakra. And gently allowing that connection to expand so that the energy can also connect down through into our sixth chakra, in our third eye, in the middle of our forehead, and here opening the connection to our intuition and all of our senses, allowing space for our thoughts and our ideas to gently calm and ground, bringing all of our energy into the present moment, returning any energy that is in the past, thinking about what was, and also bringing back any energy that's in the future, worrying about what could be or what might be. And just allowing ourselves space to be in the breath and in the heartbeat in this moment. And expanding our connection to our spiritual team so that we can see and hear and feel and know all of the messages that they are trying to share with us. And then opening up your throat and allowing space for your authentic truth to be spoken, your authentic self to be expressed. And what would that look like? What would that feel like? And letting all the tension and the stress from the back of the neck, all the ways that you've bitten back words, or held on to any anger or frustration. And the way that lays on your shoulders as a responsibility, a burden that you are carrying for yourself or for others. And just really noticing the weight that that responsibility has on you. And just gently ask your team to remove the weight for just a moment so you can experience the difference between carrying your own energy and carrying the energy of others. And all the tension that happens when we get caught up in what we should do or what we could do. And moving into the heart chakra and the beautiful lungs and heart that it works with. And then allowing the divine energy to come in and clear the lungs of any old stuck energy. Any ways we've been afraid to fully live our life. And gently dissolving any shame or blame that we may be carrying in our heart, or any density that is sitting in or around our heart, letting that gently dissolve with the divine energy like water or like smoke. And honoring the sadness that we've carried here, whether it's disappointment or grief. And allowing unconditional love to move in and begin to heal the sadness, to return our energy to a place of joy, of beauty, of love. And connecting to our inner child and seeing what they are feeling and experiencing. And taking a moment to be the parent to our child, giving them what they need: love, attention, safety, and space for creativity, exploration, and play. And connecting to the inner adult, the part of us that is so responsible all the time.
Yeah.
And releasing that energy, releasing that need, and allowing the adult to just take a break and just be a living, breathing being in this moment.
Yeah.
And connecting to our inner warrior, that part of us that advocates for ourselves and for others, that holds our sense of right and wrong, that keeps us safe and protects us. And again, give the warrior a moment of peace and tranquility. For right now, you are safe and loved and supported. And moving into connection with our sage elder, that wise part of us, that wise one who knows all of the information that we've collected through all our lifetimes, who fills us with moments of wisdom and connection, who guides us along our path when we are able to listen. And now moving down into our third chakra. And as we are here, taking a moment to honor our inner critic. The critic who tries to guide us, but sometimes does so from a place of fear, worry, anxiety. And just making a little bit of space for you to feel your own energy separate from the critic, so that there's room to connect to your inner spark, your desire, the fuel for you on your journey. Releasing any resentment, frustration, judgment, assumptions that may be stuck here. In any way that you disconnect from your true sense of self, how it impacts your self-confidence, your self-worth, your self-esteem. Breathing love and light into those places to fill you.
Yeah.
And also gently cleansing the organs that work so hard to support the third chakra, all in the upper abdomen. The ones that cleanse and detoxify all the energy that we pick up from others, from the emotional, mental, and physical realms. And gently moving down into the second chakra, below the belly button, and allowing any energy that is squeezing you, keeping you from feeling all of your emotions fully. Bringing balance into all of your relationships. With others, with things, even with yourself and the divine. This is where creativity and abundance flow with the waters that reside within you. And clearing out anything that is making the water murky. Cleansing and restoring balance. And expanding the connection into the hips so that the creativity and the connection in your relationships can be grounded in both the physical and the spiritual realms. And moving down to connect with the first chakra and really any residue that you have connected to your safety, your security, your finances, anything that impacts your survival. And really letting that return to a place of balance, knowing that you are held and supported by the divine.
Yeah.
And letting that energy move down your legs so that you can create momentum and movement in your life so that you are not stuck, standing, waiting, wondering. And as it moves through your knees, it expands the opportunity for flexibility and adaptability to circumstances and change. And moving down your shins and into your ankles and your feet. And through the bottoms of the feet, you can either feel these deep roots expand and connect, or you can imagine cords of connection that go down deep into Grandmother Earth. And for some, it may be even easier to experience your tailbone becoming a giant cord of connection into Grandmother Earth. And if you have difficulty grounding, you can also create a cord of connection from your heart center that goes through the third chakra, the second chakra, the first chakra, and then down into the earth. And as it goes into the depths of the earth, going past the rocks and the crystals and the old bones of ancient civilizations, it travels miles and miles to the very molten lava center of the earth, the heartbeat of the grandmother itself. And allow the cords and the roots to wrap around the center or wrap around something sturdy like a giant rock or crystal. Allowing you to anchor deep within the earth. And through this anchor of connection, allowing the divine feminine energy of Grandmother Earth to come up through this cord of connection and begin to fill in all the places where you released energy and made room for healing and unconditional love to fill you up. Begin to feel it as it comes through your feet and through your legs, working its way up into your hips and the fullness of your pelvic floor. Filling that womb of creation and up your spinal cord. Filling all your bones and muscles and organs, as well as your chakras. And moving up and allowing it to fill all of your ribs, and then your lungs and your heart, as well as your heart chakra. And within the heart chakra, just allowing space for even more love to be held. Just breathing into a space where your heart can hold more love, more joy, more connection for yourself and to share with others. And allow the healing energy to pour down your shoulders, down your arms, into your wrists and your hands, so that the healing energy flows through you. And as you touch other things, it allows the healing to be shared, and allowing the energy to move up through your throat, through your neck, the base of the skull, and all the way up through your brain to the top of your head, and to cascade over you like a giant waterfall. And as the energy flows over you, allowing your aura to be cleansed, restored, and repaired. Remembering that your aura is in front of you and behind you, even behind your shoulder blades. It is on either side of you, above you and below you, way beneath your feet, all the way into the earth. And allowing the aura to repair in the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual layers, as well as in each and every dimension and direction, through past lives and karmic debt. And in this space, sending healing back to Grandmother Earth for all that she does to hold us, support us, nourish us.
Yeah.
And take a moment of gratitude with your spiritual team for being present to guide you and assist you, and for all that they do for you each and every moment of every day, whether we are aware of it or not. And start to begin to dissolve your meditation and return back into this present moment. You might want to rub your hands together or stomp your feet, stretch or yawn, whatever you need. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. And we're going to pull some cards. If you would like to receive a message this evening, all you have to do is type in yes, please, and we'll make sure to get that card read for you. Neshi is in the house. She's my producer. So she's the one who is in the studio and can see everybody's requests. And we pull the cards in the order that we see them in the production studio, which may not be the same way that you see them in the news feed, because often, you know, we're connected to multiple feeds, and so all of them come in. So it's literally who comes in first is how they get pulled. All right, so we're going to start with Christine Pollock. So your card is the Purpose Fool. So the Purpose Fool is, you know, it's a really interesting card because it reminds me of live your life with intention, right? Because it's like live your life purposefully. So he's taking aim at a target. and he's shooting. So rather than just shooting his arrow like randomly into the air, he's focused on where he's going. And what this means is that, you know, when we create with purpose, things happen more rapidly. Things fall into place more easily. It's when we can't make a decision, or we're kind of spinning in the what ifs and the could be's and the maybes, that nothing gets done, right? So this is really looking inward at what you need, what you want, focusing on that, grounding it, and then living your life moving toward that intention. So I know for you that, you know, you are an artist, and that there are times when, you know, it gets stuck, right? The creativity gets stuck. And if you had too narrow of a focus, like, I have to create a painting today, you and I both know it wouldn't happen, right? Because the have to makes it a chore. The have to makes it work. So instead, if you are walking your life always looking for inspiration for the next piece of artwork, you don't have to be in a place where you're trying to make art happen. You are living in a place where inspiration can come at any moment and any time. So make sure that when you get stuck, because I know we all do, that you look for inspiration in other places around you, and then it will pull your intention back to where you need it to be. All right. Julie, Shumway Hill. Of course. All right. This is the Fool's Tax. So the Fool's Tax can be a tough one because, you know, it's that card of live and learn. You know, and that is how we have to learn sometimes. You know, everything doesn't get laid out in this beautiful array and we just like happily walk through everything. Sometimes we've got to trip over something and go, I'm not going to do that again. So in this energy, it's saying learn from your mistakes and don't let your mistakes be carried forward with you. Learn it, understand it, leave it, and move on. The tax part happens when we have the mistake happen and we keep thinking about it. Then the more we keep thinking about it, the more it drains our energy, and that's when our tax rate goes up for our mistake. The mistake becomes more costly, right? But if we learn from it right away, it's just enough for us to teach us a lesson, and it doesn't have to impact our whole life. All right. All right. Julie Hedges. So your card is the Duty Fool. He's at attention. All set to go here. So the Duty Fool is assume all the duties that you need to do with love in your heart. When we are like, oh, I have to go to the grocery store and I have to get my car fixed and I have to, you know, go do readings tomorrow for 3 hours. We have pulled the energy down. When we use the have to or I need to sometimes, you instead be like, oh, yay, I get to go to the grocery store and get some new, you know, fresh fruit. And I get to do readings tomorrow for 2 hours. It has a different vibration. So you're up in your heart energy when you are able to get excited. And the phrase that I use to help me shift is I say, I get to. Like, you know, kids are like, I get to go play, right? I get to go to the grocery store. I get to get my tires changed. That's different than, I have to get my tires changed and I have to go to the grocery store. It's a very low vibration. So we all have duties that we have to do. We've got stuff that we have to get done, but we can decide whether it's a chore or not. All right. And so try to take some of the weight in your life out by taking stuff that feels like chores and turning them into something that can be a little more joyous. All right. Rob. So Rob, your card is the stress fool. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. So Rob, with your card, it's saying breathe. When we get stressed out, we really shut down our breath. We really hold our breath. And we only use 1/3 of our lung capacity when we're stressed out. And so lots of time wisdom is located in the lower part of the lung. So if you go, you can actually start to access the wisdom you need to reduce your stress. And, you know, I know that you're really good at taking walks in nature to try to help reduce your stress. The other thing is, you know, when you can do some other kind of movement, exercise, even singing out loud can reduce your stress because it's using your throat to get out energy that got stuck when you weren't saying what you needed to say. So what I'm seeing for you, there's this little side note that's kind of coming in with it, is that make sure that your stress is really yours. Sometimes we create stress unintentionally because we think other people are thinking something. Like we make an assumption, you know, they looked at me funny, so they must be mad at me. I wonder what I did, and now we're all stressed out. So try to stay in your own container, in your own stress, and leave other people to their own. You can't fix it. You can't change it. They're in charge of their own stress. Okay? All right. Susan. Hi, dear. All right. So your card is the Meaning Fool. So the Meaning Fool is basically mean what you say and do, and say and do only what holds meaning for you. So do what you love. Obviously, you know, we do have things we have to do that maybe we don't love, like the dishes or the laundry. But when you're talking to people and when you're committing to doing things, really make sure it's in alignment with who you are and really speaks to your heart. We all know when we have a job that we don't love, it's really hard to get up and go to work every day. It adds stress. And yes, there are times that we do things for money, but there are times where we can speak to our team and say, you know, this is how much money I need to be making, but I need to connect to a job or a relationship that fills me and doesn't drain me. So that is really kind of what I keep seeing, is that, you know, choose your activities and choose your jobs and choose friendships that are in alignment with you being relaxed in yourself. If you have to put on a fake Susan mask, then it's probably not the thing for you. All right. Okay. Marie. Your card is the Wonderful. And with the Wonderful, it's reminding us that part of our inner child is all about really connecting to that sense of wonder and excitement. And our inner child, when it goes out and investigates things, it's like, look at that. Isn't that cool? Isn't that exciting? It's so fun to go adventuring with children. They're so excited by little tiny things. So Marie, what you want to do is you want to really bring in this sense of wonder in your own life. Like, stop and look at the roses, or be excited when you see a rainbow, and just really focus on the things that bring you joy, because that wonder will help fill your heart. It'll help keep the unconditional love flowing for you. And it also helps us to maintain more full, creative energy and spark. I guess that's the right way. Oh, so I got a note from Neshi. Hi, Neshi. There we go. I think we're good.
We're going to work on her audio next, okay? So hang on. Here she is. Cross your fingers that your audio is good. Hang on. Okay, now give it a whirl.
Can you hear me?
Ooh, we got the echo. All right. I'm going to try to refresh my screen. But that may mean we're going to lose the list of people, but I'll work on it as quickly as I can, okay? All right. So hang in there, everybody. I'm going to refresh the screen. We're going to be gone just for a moment, okay? Okay.
Hey, guys.
Okay, so Polly Jo, I think you can still hear me, right?
Yeah. And
Okay, turn down your sound. Okay, so here, this is one of the blessings of having a live show is we get to take care of all this stuff on the fly, right?
yeah.
So one of the things that's going on is I actually have 2 of your video feeds. So I think that's why we're getting the feedback.
Okay.
I have Polly Jo 1 and Polly Jo 2. So what we need to do is we need to only have one of you.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, say that again.
Okay.
So we don't have the echo.
Yeah.
All right. So why don't we get started there? Hang on. Let me see.
And I have an echo for you too.
All right. Hang on. Let me mute mine.
Yep. Still an echo.
Still in. Okay. So what we need to do is get rid of one of the Polly Joes. So we have 2 of you. Okay, so this is what I'd like you to do, Polly Jo, is to drop down into the lobby and disconnect your camera. You're going to have to do it to both of them, okay?
Okay.
All right, so go ahead and I'm going to drop you down into the lobby. Hey,
Okay.
guys, we're going to put the cover back on in just a second, okay? And we'll be right back.
Hey. Am I good?
Yes, you are.
No longer echoing?
Nope, you're good.
All right.
Now, hang on. Let me work on the who did we leave off with? Susan?
Nope, Marie.
Marie. Okay, did you finish up, Marie?
Yes, but I don't know if she got it. Do you want me to do Marie again?
That might be nice.
Okay, so let me start with Marie. And then Neshi can kind of recreate.
There.
So Marie, I'm glad your necklace arrived. Woohoo! So you have the Wonderful. And the Wonderful is basically saying, bring everything that you can into your life that reminds you and fills you with wonder. And it's calling you to bring your inner child in. The inner child is filled with awe and wonder and excitement. And when we have that, our heart is expanded, our heart is open, and we really are able to fully be our creative self. So this is a time where find things that bring out that curiosity in you and let that guide you, because that will also amplify the energy in your heart, help you stay focused in unconditional love, and you'll find that you start to spread joy and wonder around you as well. So thanks, Marie, and make sure that you get a opportunity to call that in. All right. Let's see. Jackie. I have the original list, by the way, Neshi. Okay. So, Jackie, you have the Doubtful. And the Doubtful is a fun one because it's asking you to doubt things a little more than you do. Sometimes we just take things on faith that everything's fine and everything's normal. But you get this little nudge in your tummy that says differently. So just because something looks shiny on the outside doesn't mean it's shiny on the inside, is how I'm having Spirit saying it to me. So it's the people put on false appearances sometimes to try to get our attention. But if you have that inner ding from your intuition that all is not as it seems, listen to that, because it sounds like there are a number of people who are sort of around you who are kind of putting on a false persona, which makes it difficult to navigate relationships with them because you're not really sure who you're talking to in the moment. All right. So Rob's friend, Melissa. All right. So Melissa, your card is the Pain Fool. And the Pain Fool is something that we all need to do. You know, there are things in our life that are causing us pain, and it's time for you to take a look at that, time to face it. We pretend it's not there. The pain gets stronger and louder until we take a look at it. So this is just whatever is causing you discomfort in your life, discomfort in your body. It's time for you to really focus on that. And pain comes in many layers. It can be physical, emotional, mental, and even spiritual pain that we need to take a look at. And that is always a sign that we're ready for growth. So don't think of it as, oh no, you know, I've got this thing wrong with me. No, it's that something is trying to emerge that is perfectly right within you. So by taking a look at those places that are a little uncomfortable, then you're going to be able to unsurface a fuller, brighter version of Melissa. And I look forward to hearing how that goes for you. All right, Carol. Nice. You got the Wish Fool, my dear. So the Wish Fool is perfect because it's like believe in your own wishes. And I think of this as, what do you want to create with your heart's desire? And let your team, let the divine help you create the focus and the intention to create that in your reality. So don't dismiss those things that you wish you could have. Just because somebody else says you can't doesn't mean that's true. The divine is willing to work with you on whatever you want, whatever you need, and whatever you wish to have in your life. So use your creative spark and your intention to make some of those wishes come true. All right. Bobby. Oh, of course. I'm sure you've got a lot of this right now. You have the Thankful. So the Thankful is saying to you, just be grateful. Be grateful for what's happening for you. Be grateful for what's happening around you. And be grateful even for the challenges that come up, because they're here to help you stretch and grow. Because when we approach our life from a place of gratitude, we find that our heart is engaged and our heart stays open, and we end up being a magnet for even more things to be grateful for. And I know you are super good at this. And I will tell everybody that I was so grateful to Bobby this weekend because she found chocolate that I could eat. And for most of you, that doesn't sound like anything amazing. But when you are allergic to soy and tree nuts, it's a tough deal to find chocolate. And so I was so grateful to be able to have some bites of dark chocolate again, all because Bobby was being really gracious at paying attention to what I needed as well as everybody else. So thank you. I'm grateful for you too. Christine, of course. Nice. So yours is the Colorful. Keep it colorful. I love that. The rainbow is such a big symbol for so many things, and it's really our chakra system. It's our energy system, right? And we want those all lit up. And how do we do that? Is we bring color into our lives. And we know when our energy is condensed and depressed because everything that we choose is dark, dreary colors. So if you need to bring in some inspiration, bring in some life into rooms or into your work or into your wardrobe, start bringing some color in. Be open to introducing new colors and see what that shifts for you. Because when we get caught in that rut, it really is difficult for us to kind of get past ourselves when we are in those dark, dense places. Bring in the color. All right. Mary. Yours is the romantic Fool. And this is all about falling in love with yourself. Don't we all need that? And when we can fall in love with ourselves, we're able to fall in love with life. Food starts to taste better, and the flowers smell more fragrant, and the sky is brighter. It's that when we become brighter on the inside, everything around us brightens up outside of us. So start by falling in love with yourself. And maybe, I always think it's a great idea to go, do a date night for yourself. Buy yourself flowers that you want. Buy yourself a card that you wish somebody would give to you. And just see how it feels to receive love from yourself the way that you would like to be loved by others. It really helps us to feel in control of our own emotions and our own energy. So that's a good one for all of us. Thank you, sweetie. Randy, thanks for letting us take Bobby for the weekend. So you have the Play Fool. So the Play Fool sounds like you guys, I'm sure. So it's just time for you to have fun and be playful. Life gets so serious sometimes. And, when we're dealing with big things around us, we sometimes get down in the dumps about it. But the best way to heal is to infuse ourselves with love and joy. Love and joy shifts the vibration of our energy field like nothing else. So how can you play and how can you have fun? What would your inner child like to do? And do that and get a playmate. I think Bobby is a good playmate, but maybe you've got some other ones who would love to join in, and let that laughter and joy just come in and be the medicine that you need right now to heal you. Because that is laughter is big medicine. That's how I'm hearing it said. All right. Get that going. All right. Yes. Mike. So you got the ignorant Fool. Sitting like a dunce in the corner. That's not really you. But the ignorant Fool is that sometimes ignorance is bliss. And whenever this card comes to the surface, it usually means that something's going on with somebody else that you want to know what it is, right? We all get curious. Somebody comes in and they're in a bad mood and you want to know why, but they don't want to talk about it. So you're trying to poke and find out, and it really has nothing to do with you. So sometimes the not knowing is a much better place to be than the weight of knowing what's actually going on. And this is always a card too, that it's mind your own business, mind your own side of the street, because we can't really, even when we share an event with someone else, we're both in a car crash. Your experience and mine is completely different depending on where we were sitting and where the car hit the other car, right? So don't assume you know what somebody else is feeling because you've been through it either. So sometimes it's better just not to know because that's when you can just have compassion, just have open compassion for the other person. And you don't have to tell everybody else all of your business either. Sometimes it's better for them not to know either, because then they can be more open and compassionate for you. All right, Lisa. Sure thing. So your card is the Fearful, my dear. And the Fearful is, you know what? We all have fear. And it's time to kind of look at them and just laugh at them. Own them and laugh at it, because we have them, but when we let them take over our whole life and our whole being, they run the show. How do you stop a bully? Do you let them sort of take over and run you into the ground? Or do you stand up and kind of laugh off what they're trying to say and what they're trying to do? So in a way, this is you laughing at your inner critic when it's trying to freak you out. When it's trying to control you and tell you all these terrible things, you're just like, oh my gosh, that's such a piece of baloney, and that there's no way that's true. So you go sit over there and I'm just going to keep going, right? So it's another time when let's put that inner critic off to the side and let it do its thing. And we can kind of laugh at when it comes in a loving way, right? All right, Minnie. So you got the Masterful. He's got his little master's degree and his graduation cap on. So the Masterful is, what you do all the time, but let your intuition lead you. If you're having something come up that you're not quite certain of, and you've got like a couple decisions you could make, just let your intuition guide you. That thinking brain sometimes gets overrun by the inner critic, who starts to tell us the logical thing and the logical way to do things. But that doesn't mean it's the best way, right? But our intuition will know what's highest and best for us. So let that be your compass. Let that be your guide for the choices you need to make on your life's path right now. And I don't see anything major. I just see a couple like, well, should I go this way or should I go that way? So just let your intuition show you the way that is most aligned with Minnie, who she is right now. All right. Jackie. Of course. The Tearful. And the Tearful is telling us, don't be afraid of your emotions. If you need to cry something out, cry it out. There's nothing wrong with tears. They're cleansing, they're restoring, they are honoring the heaviness that you're carrying in your heart. So if something is weighing you down, and I feel like something is, I don't know if it's disappointment or grief or, this kind of carrying the blame for something that's not yours. All of those are heavy. And sometimes we just need to cry it out. And you know what? If somebody hurts our feelings, it's okay to cry. We don't have to be strong in every second of the day. And it is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It's a sign of strength when you are willing to feel all your emotions fully. Because how many people are strong enough, courageous enough to do that? So let yourself cry if you need to. And if you need, to get the tears rolling, there's plenty of sappy movies out there that will start that ball rolling. For me, it's just the Hallmark Channel. When I need a good cry, I turn on the Hallmark Channel. I grab my tissues. My family runs for the hills because nobody wants to be in the room for the ugly cry, and I just have at it. All right. So that's my recommendation. All right, Pat. Woo! The Crazy Fool. I could see that for you. I don't know. I could see the crazy fool for you. So the crazy fool is basically get in touch with what you want and what you need and make it a priority. When we don't, that's crazy making. That's how we get on the crazy train. When we're doing everything for everybody else and we don't have time for what we want and what we need. Nobody's making time for you except you. So put yourself first and give yourself space to, push other people's energy to the side, and you'll get to it when you get to it. But getting caught up in everybody else's garbage, that's crazy making. So really just stay in your energy, what you need, what you want. And then you're actually setting a really good role model for the people around you to do the same thing. And I'm feeling this is very family connected. And I think you know what I mean. All right. Stay in your own realm. Okay, Carol. So you have the petty fool. Nice. So the petty fool comes in to tell you you are perfect just the way you are. The inner critic is the one who's nitpicking and being petty. Oh, I don't like this color shirt, or oh, this doesn't fit me well, or oh, maybe I need a haircut, or oh, I'd be happier if I lost 5 pounds, or whatever it wants to say to kind of put you down. That's not you. You are exactly who you're meant to be right in this minute, and everybody loves you for that. So let go of those expectations and those I don't know, weird boundaries that other people maybe put in your head that you need to do or you need to be. And just be Carol, fully open-hearted, sweetie pie Carol, because that's what you are meant to be. All right. Thank you. I'm glad you like the yellow. Tina, of course, I'll do yours first. This is a similar card to we had earlier. So this is the deceit fool. And the deceit fool is trust your intuition. Sometimes we're blinded to what's in front of us. Somebody shows us, a happy face and they pretend they're all happy. And sometimes we just get this nudging that not everything is as it seems. So there are people who want us to believe things and they put on a big show to try to get us to believe things because they're uncomfortable with the actual truth. So trust your intuition. If everything doesn't line up, what you're seeing doesn't line up with your intuitive hits, then just know there might be something a little bit off. Doesn't mean they're full out lying. It just may be that they're uncomfortable with the full truth. All right. And Ashley's card. So this is an interesting card because this is called the Empty Fool. This is the only card that the fool's not actually in the card. It's just the fool's dog. So in the Empty Fool, it's when we're in that space where we aren't connected to our own inner wisdom. We're disconnected from our intuition. We're doubting ourselves. And in that space of disconnect, we feel empty because we're kind of in there alone because we've energetically shut everybody and everything else out. And that is the fastest way for us to collapse our heart energy, is when we aren't in love and we aren't sharing love. So this is inviting you to take those empty spots that you may be feeling inside of you and start to fill it with love for yourself and allow yourself to be loved by others. Because when we feel in that kind of space, we sometimes shut people out. And really what we want more than anything is to let them in. So breathe into any of those empty spaces, because you are loved. You are loved by others, and you are supported and loved by the divine in your team in every minute of every day. All right, my dear? Okay. Laura, of course. So your card, my dear, is the youthful. And the youthful is great because this is all about live your life fearlessly. You know, when you're young, you just like take a leap of faith and you jump and you don't think, you know, and we all need that at times. Otherwise we get in our head, and all of the best things in our life are just outside of our comfort zone. So this is like when you feel that kind of excitement, but there's this scared feeling, that usually means go for it, because it's like just a little bit out of your comfort zone, just a little bit of a leap of faith. And that will fill you with this exuberance, which the youth hold on to, and that we can have anytime we do that. So I invite you to do that, Laura. Nice. All right, Emily. Of course. So yours is the faithful, hanging by his toes from the trapeze there. So the faithful is really similar. You know, have faith that you can take this leap of faith, that you are being held. It may feel like you're in a free fall, but you're actually going to land exactly where you're meant to. So again, this is a really similar theme. Like, it's time to take that leap of faith and really know that you're being supported to do this bigger version of you. And it's hard to step over that place where we've been all this time. It's comfortable, but we don't like it. To get out of that rut, to get out of that stuck spot, you've got to make some movement. And that always requires to step out of your comfort zone, take a little bit of faith that you're being guided in the direction of your soul's journey. All right, so let that happen, dear. All right, Margaret. Okay. So yours is the law fool. So the law fool is know the law. And when know the law comes in, usually to me, that comes in when there's some disagreement stuff going on between people. So it's know the rules, know, what I'm seeing is like you may need documents that prove XYZ. You know, like if you have, you get denied your health insurance claim, you need to know the rules on what your deductible is and all of that, so you can go back and fight for yourself, advocate for yourself. So knowing the rules, knowing the laws, knowing the restrictions that are in place will help you empower yourself. The laws don't work against us, they work for us, because they're very distinct boundaries that we all can follow. And so when we have that, we can advocate for ourselves, we can advocate for others. So I'm seeing literal papers that you need to know the regulations of. I don't have a good sense of what it's for, but it's a stack of forms that has like numbers and letters on it, that it's like, okay, this is what you need to know. So make sure that you pull out all your documentation, get all your ducks in a row, and you'll be all set. All right, Lynn. Of course. So your card is the hopeful. And the hopeful is really just that. Believe that things are going to get better, but have hope, have faith that everything does not have to stay the way it is. When we doubt that anything is going to change, when we doubt that, we turn into kind of Eeyore, oh, bother. And then it's hard to get that energetic momentum to shift and change. So fill your space with hope and wishes, and have faith that everything is going to turn out the way it's meant to. Wow, we're having a lot of having faith. So I just hope everybody is aware and paying attention to notice the patterns in the card. It's speaking to all of us. We're all in this space of this turbulent energy, and some of us, or most of us, are going to need to step out of our comfort zone and take a leap of faith of some kind. And for some of us, it's going to feel like a trapeze, and some of us, it's going to be, wishful thinking, but we've all got to do it. So here we go, Lynn. Take yours. All right, Joanne. So you have the Power Fool. This is reminding you that you have the power within you to call in the divine. Call in the divine. Call in your team. Ask for help. You aren't doing this alone. You are that powerful. You can ask and receive what you need, but you have to let go of the fear of asking. So step into that power, call in the divine, and get it done. All right? Don't wishy-washy around. All right, April. Oh, I'm glad it's your first time here. Welcome. So your card, sweetheart, is the Peace Fool. And basically, the Peace Fool is saying peace is only one breath away. So when we get caught up in the spinning in our head, if we stop and we breathe, we can restore peace within our body in seconds. So whenever you feel that anxiety creeping in, the stress creeping in, pay attention to, am I breathing? Blow out some of the old air, make some space, because panic attacks can only happen when we're not breathing. So knowing that we don't want that energy to get to that point, sometimes we just need to stop and take a big, deep breath and give our brain some well-needed oxygen to be able to make a decision. Because if we're not breathing well, then the oxygen flow isn't going there. So how well is our brain functioning, right? So make sure that you're breathing a lot as you're going through and making your decisions. All right, sweetie. All right, Natalie. So yours is the Art Fool. So the Art Fool is calling on you to be creative. And whether you do creativity through artwork or dance or singing or baking or gardening, however you do your creativity, it's time for you to get those juices flowing. Get some creation energy moving. Because that's when abundance flows for us. That's when everything starts to go well in our relationships. That's when we really feel at ease within our body, within ourselves, within our relationships, is when we have enough time to be creative, because that pulls the joy energy in, that lets our inner child have some fun. And it really gets us into this connection with our spiritual team when we're in that creative flow. Because we're not resisting energy, we're not worrying, we're not doubting, we're just having fun. So pull out the crayons or whatever you need to get so creative. All right, Dennis. Of course, your card is the Thought Fool. Think, 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 think. So the Thought Fool is telling you a little different than other people, which is always think before you act. So maybe you're normally a leaper and you leap into everything without thinking about it. So for you, before you take action, you're going to take a deep breath and reevaluate whether this is for your highest best or not, which means you probably leap into action without having enough time to connect to your intuition. So when it's saying think before you act, it's connect to your intuition before you act. Because some of us are fearless and we just go for it and then we pick up the pieces afterwards. And maybe you could think just a little bit more about whether it's the best leap to take at this moment. All right, Barbie. Love when we get this card. So this is the forget fool. The luggage has fallen off the carriage. They're driving away. This is let that stuff go. You've got all of this emotional and mental baggage you're carrying. What of it can you leave behind? It's too much to carry. There's not enough space in your vehicle to carry it. So how many suitcases of old garbage can you let go of? And the sooner you do it, the more quickly you will be able to make new things come into your life. Because when we're dragging all this old baggage behind, we don't have any arms to carry anything new or to welcome anything new in. So let it go. And I'm glad you didn't miss us. All right, Gabby. Of course. So you have the joy fool. And the joy fool is saying, enjoy yourself. Have a good time. Party it up. Life doesn't have to be so serious. Just because we're, adults doesn't mean we can't play. I hear my oldest son all the time, talking about, I have to be adulting, and it's such an odd concept for my generation because it's like we adulted when we were kids, I think. So this is saying, take time to enjoy yourself. Take time to do things that bring you pleasure. Life does not have to always be so serious. Because when we do that, when we don't make time to play, when we don't make time to do things we enjoy, we start to resent things. And that brings our energy down the rabbit hole faster than anything. Okay? So pull that joy and bring it on in. All right, Nathan. Of course. So your card is the Mercy Fool. And the Mercy Fool is when, we have plenty and there are others around us who don't. And so what ways can you show compassion to some other people around you who are having a tough time? And it doesn't have to be somebody but you can have compassion for that person who's struggling to put their grocery cart away and take it for them, or struggle holding the door. And maybe, I don't even know how many times I've done this, where there's somebody in front of me who's like counting pennies to pay for their groceries. And it takes nothing for me to reach into my bag and put the change out for them. I don't want somebody to put back milk because they don't have the extra 32 cents. That's just not okay, right? In my energy, I'm willing to do that for someone. So that's me having compassion. And what happens is that other person is filled with gratitude because they've been overlooked. They haven't been seen and noticed. and I saw a need and could fill it. And that is the type of energy that you want to do. Who has a need that you can fill? And it doesn't have to be monetary. It can be, you can go and give somebody some time and sit down and have a conversation with somebody who's lonely, right? So have some mercy for people around you who are not having as easy of a time as you are right now. And I think that's one for all of us too, Nathan. So thank you. All right, Cindy Lynn. Okay. You got the beauty fool. And the beauty fool is saying, you're naturally beautiful. Kind of like with Carol, you're perfect the way you are. So how do you share your beauty with others? Are you hiding? Are you getting out there and sharing that lovely smile with other people? Are you bringing laughter and joy to friends and family? Because that all radiates out from your natural beauty. So find ways that you can share your beautiful self with other people. Does this sound familiar to what we were just saying? And again, it's another thing. It's like, how can we be compassionate with other people and share our sparks so that they can feel that light and come out of their own darkness? So let your beauty shine and help some others. All right, Jacqueline. All right, Jacqueline, you got the rest fool. This was my card for today, I think. I would have thought. This is a card for take a break and give yourself a break. You know, there are times when we go, 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 go. And what on earth are you running from? Take a deep breath, take a break, take a nap, take a walk, give yourself a time out. Because we get super cranky when we go, 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 and we don't have any time to rest. And then the work that we do and the energy that we share, it's just mucky. So when we give ourselves permission to take a break and to recalibrate and recharge our batteries, then we have that much more we can do and be and give. But when we run ourselves ragged, we're not doing anybody any favors, especially ourselves. So make sure that you give yourself some time to recuperate and to recharge your battery. All right. All right, Stephanie, of course. So you have the bounty fool, my dear. Glad to have you here tonight. So the bounty fool is all about living your life in balance, balancing what you have to do in your physical life, balancing what you're doing in your spiritual life, balancing work and family, balancing, you know, your time versus others' time. And so when we have a lot going on, we need to be mindful that we're keeping everything in balance. And you know that you're not in balance when you start to get cranky. You know you're in balance when you start to feel sick or have pain. You know you're not in balance when you have a short fuse, when you don't usually. So just be mindful of when those things start to come up and look for how you can restore balance in your life. What can you do to kind of even things out so that you don't feel pulled in every direction? All right. Glad to have you again. Deborah, of course. So your card is the sentimental fool. Woohoo! So the sentimental fool is, you know, we sometimes get reminiscent of the past, and we sometimes romanticize our stories from the past. And what this is telling us is that it's great that we have these sentiments, but life is happening now. How can you make this moment a new memory? And so live life in the moment. You know, what happened in the past is beautiful. It can be wonderful, but you don't have to recreate it constantly, because then you're not making space for new memories to be created. So how about switching our mindset to trying to create more memories for our future? At a point in time when maybe we slow down and we want to share it with others, that's when we can have time to be sentimental. Right now, make life happen. Be in the moment. Live your life. All right. Ahmed. Okay. Glad to have you in the house. So you have the Grace Fool. So the Grace Fool is, it's about being graceful, but graceful is when we are filled with grace. And our energy is filled with grace when we have love and compassion for ourselves and for others. And when we move through our lives by treating other people with love and compassion all the time. This is about being in that place where every human being matters. And when every animal on the planet and every fish in the sea, they all matter. And we treat them as divine beings. And as divine beings, we are in a place of grace when we recognize the divinity in everything and everyone around us. So how can you take moments to be in grace? How can you be graceful as you're living your life? And all I keep seeing is walking around and generously treating every single person around you with love and compassion. Because isn't that the role model we're all trying to create together on this new earth plane? Thank you for joining us this evening. All right, Annette. So your card is the Drunken Fool. Doesn't have to be literal, but it can be. If you need to sober up, then you need to sober up. There's plenty of that going around. But basically, this comes in, the Drunken Fool comes in when we are busy using coping mechanisms to avoid what's going on in front of us. So, for me, it might be, having snacks. For some people, it might be alcohol, or it might be drugs of some kind. Some people, it's spending hours on end on their computer or on their cell phone. How do you avoid being in the present moment, really, right? And so when it's saying sober up, it's like it's time for you to stop and pay attention to what's going on around you. Life needs your attention right now, and it needs you to be clear-headed and to be able to approach what's going on from a very wise place. So that way you don't kind of get swooped over. What I'm kind of seeing is like this, you're not paying attention and you kind of get sideswiped. And that's what happens, right? When somebody's driving drunk, even if you're driving your life in a drunken state, you're unaware, and then things will crash into you. So instead of that, really get to a place where you're paying attention, and, we all avoid conflict in different ways, and escape from dealing with things that are difficult. So get some strength and some courage in there, and really face what's coming at you, and reach out and get some friends to help you and support you, because they're there for you. All right, Andrew, of course. So you have the Respect Fool. So the Respect Fool is respect the natural flow of things. This is when we have to give up the energy of trying to make things happen. We use our will to try to get through and push through, and we are always pushing upstream. So instead, It's time to kind of respect that thing. This is how things are going to go, and this is how things are going to happen. And somehow there's a rhyme, a reason, and a rhythm to that. So don't try to push against what's happening. Try to find a way to step into what's happening and allow it to wash you along with it. You'll move through it faster if you flow with the stream than trying to go upstream. Okay? All right. Joanna, you have the skillful. And the skillful it's part of the 4 agreements, which is always do your best, right? You can only do your best, and don't beat yourself up over it. That's the inner critic. If you've only got a certain amount of time to get something done and it's not as perfect as you would like it to be, let it go. Just do the best that you can in each and every moment, and that's all that's ever expected of you. And if somebody else, has a different philosophy around that, just take a deep breath and remember that's outside of you. That has nothing to do with you. When you do your best, that's all that you can do. Okay. And again, don't let your inner critic beat you up about that, because it sounds like that might get a little noisy sometimes. All right, Sharon. So you have the reclusive fool. So the reclusive fool comes up it's that energy when we need a break. Also, when we need a timeout, when we need to, there's a lot of stimulation of energy. There's a lot of electronics out there. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of movement. The earth is shaking its vibration. And so with all that, it almost feels like your nervous system is a little out of whack. And I've had that happen, and it can be really uncomfortable. So this is kind of a time to kind of detach. Maybe give yourself an electronic detox for a few days over the weekend or something, where you kind of can unplug and give yourself a little time away from the world, just so you can reconnect with nature, reconnect with yourself, and let all of the busyness kind of melt off you, because it really feels like it's shaking you a lot. And I'd hate for that to turn into you getting sick as the only way that you're going to get a timeout, because spending a vacation in a hospital is just not as fun as taking a nap under the trees. Okay, so I highly suggest that. All right, Karen, you got the truthful today, my dear. So the truthful is just be honest. Be honest about your feelings. Be honest about what you need and how you need it. And pay attention to those times when we try to create excuses. Sometimes you get to work 5 minutes late, right? And people are like, well, what's your excuse? And your excuse could be, well, there was a lot of traffic, or I didn't get my butt out of bed in time, so I'm a little bit late, right? But tell the truth in that moment, even if it's, I didn't get out of bed fast enough, obviously, and that's why I'm late. Because when we're in our integrity and when we are speaking with truth and honesty, other people can feel that. And then they learn to trust you more fully when we're willing to own our mistakes and we're willing to own where we are. And be comfortable with the fact that other people have trouble being honest, and not judging them for that, just knowing that's where they're at and being in our own honest and integrity place. Whew. All right, Dinah. No, it's not too late. Glad you're here. So you have the lazy fool. This lazy fool likes naps lately. This one's on a rock. So, but the lazy fool here is there's no need to worry. There's no need to stress. Just have confidence that you have everything you need to take care of this situation and what's going on in your life right now. And to others who are all stressed out and want to get you on the worry train, don't go there with them. And that may give you that air of being lazy, but really it's that you're confident enough not to get worked up in somebody else's drama, right? So have enough confidence in yourself, your skills, and who you are to know that whatever drama someone else wants to create around you, you do not have to get in it. And that you've got this no matter what they try to spin and create to cause you to step out of who you are. Don't go there. You got this. All right. Michael. Ah, nice one for love. So this is the hand Fool. Look at all the cups in the air, right? So with the hand Fool, it's saying, keep it simple. You know, we can make relationships so complicated. And what I'm getting is just be you. And if that's not okay for somebody else, then they don't love you. They only love their created version of you. And there's no need for us to live up to somebody else's interpretation of who we are. Just be ourselves in each and every moment. And when we do that, we attract people who love us for who we are. And then we love them for who they are. And in that space, you know, make sure that you're doing your best to release all the conditions that you have on love, because those are so difficult for other people to live up to. And you know, it's so hard to live up to that for someone else. So it's saying, just keep it simple, just be you, and really release all the drama, because that's when we get all caught up in our head and our inner critic goes bonkers. So just be you. All right. You got this. All right, Teresa. Of course, you have the Force Fool. I love this because it makes me think of the Force from Star Wars. So it's saying that all the true power comes from spirit. It comes from the divine. The Force is with you. And so in this place, we don't have to use our will and our power to make things happen. All of our strength comes when we're connected to the flow and we're connected to the divine. So remember, you are a divine being. You're connected to this energy. Are you going to use it and allow it to guide you? Or are you going to try to fight it? And that's a battle you just can't win. So I encourage you to call in the divine energy to help you find your strength, find your power, so that you don't have to try to force your way through things. Just makes life easier. All right, Margie. So you, all right, going through a lot. Give me advice from spirit or something. Absolutely. This is from spirit. Because I channel all my messages. So you got the righteous fool, my dear. So in this space, this is a tough one to hear. So take a deep breath. When we are in relationship with others, we have to make a decision sometimes. Is it better to be right? Or is it better to be wise? So when we're wise, We can listen to someone else. We can hear what they're trying to say. We can feel the pain that's talking through what they're saying. And does it matter in that moment that we're right? Because if it does, then we're in our ego and we're not in our heart. But when we can hear them with compassion, we can agree to disagree. It's like, okay, I get that you feel that way, and I honor that. I don't share that with you, but that's okay. We don't have to fight about this anymore. So I feel a lot of tug of war energy with you. I don't know whether it's in love or if it's in work or if it's with family, but it's just like everybody's trying to prove that they're the top dog. And what does it matter? Do you have to be in charge all the time? Do you have to be right all the time? Because when we get in those spaces, there's no room for growth, and there's no room for other people to have what they need. So as you're working through this, I encourage you to breathe, and I encourage you to really check into, what do I need? What do I want? And don't project that onto the other person, but rather look for ways that you can take care of you all by yourself. Because sometimes we try to project what we need and we want onto other people, and there's no way for them to fulfill that for us. It's overwhelming. We want perfection that doesn't exist, and no one can live up to that. And we resist that and we back away, and it causes nothing but heartache. All right. So really do your best to kind of breathe through this, sweetie, and look for the wise one within you. That's where everything lies. All right. And the last card for Neshi, and it fits her perfectly. The Cheerful. Playing the music, dancing along with the doggy. Just be cheerful, because it helps the rest of us. That spread that joy, spread that light, because you know how to do that. So guys, cool night. We whipped our way through a lot of cards once more. I'm glad for those of you who checked in and got to have a message from Spirit, got some healing in. Thank you for doing your work. Thank you for allowing me to do mine as I help heal the healers. And we can do this again next week at 7 on Soul Connections, or you can come visit me next Tuesday at noon for chakra sessions, and we'll see what wisdom the wise ones want to impart on us next week. And again, if you are in the New England area on Saturday, come join me from 9 to 4 at Trinity Healing Sanctuary. And we are going to do an in-depth dive into how to awaken your soul's evolution. And for $25 instead of $111, how can you beat that? So if you want to do that, just message me. And but space is really limited, obviously. So I hope to see you there. And with that, guys, have a great rest of your night. And we'll catch you the next time on Star Nations.